Hi folks, right, I'm just switching back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the, put that up there, and then I'm going to make the camera full screen, because, you know, you all want to see my lovely face. Shush. They can't hear you yet, right, so they're all laughing in the background. Stop laughing at me, it's not fair. Right. I can see that really big hole in my head. It's actually much more visible now, isn't it? Yeah, that's not very good. Okay, let me switch on the microphone. So I've got two special guests on the show with me this evening. So the first one is my wife. So perhaps you'd like to say hello.
Hello.
Okay, that's all we got out of her. She's talkative. And then the other one is DarknezzMonster himself in person on the channel, one of the moderators. So hi there, DarknezzMonster.
Hello.
Right, so they've got your questions that you've asked, oh, Dosh, turn off the green screen, someone said. That is such a sensible idea. Why did I not think of that? Don't answer that question, anybody. Right, that's not a question. Don't answer it. Right, that looks a bit more sensible. Now you can see my my horrible green screen, and I can see where it's not fit even remotely correctly behind me. Excellent. Right, so we're going to start off with question number one. So I'm going to turn the hosting of this over to Sarita, my wife, and DarknezzMonster, and I'm just going to answer questions, and hopefully we'll get there in the end. Right, so over to you guys.
So yeah, this is Sai here from Happy Accident Studios. I've got with me in the studio someone that you may know very well from such things as streaming late into the evening. His name is Matt Pedalston. Give it up for Matt Pedalston. Woo! Woo! All right. We've got some questions. Some quite good questions. Some kind of creepy questions. Okay.
The creepy ones are the best ones.
Now, number one, and I don't know how many people are. Okay, here we go. Where do you live?
Where do I live? In a house on a street. I live in Kent. I'm actually just down the road from where the Dovetail offices are, but I'm not going to tell you exactly where, because that would be creepy as well. So yeah, if you know roughly where the Dovetail offices are, if you know the London Faversham line, I'm not trying to sell DLC here, honestly. If you know the London Faversham line, then that's my local line, and Gillingham and Chatham stations would be kind of my local stations. And then there's a place just past Gillingham Station on the way to Rainham called Smarts Crossing, where I sometimes go train spotting. So that's kind of my wheelhouse. That's me done.
Right. So that's where he lives. Good luck finding him. You'll probably hear me talking out my front window most nights. Anyway, I have I have a crafty stream as well. Just thought I'd promote myself.
Yeah, she does. My wife does her own Twitch, because they have added a section for creative broadcasts, and so she does Twitch broadcasting as well, which is awesome.
Yeah, my personal Twitch coach is with you now. So here's one. I think everyone knows the answer to this, but what? Oh, sorry. I'm gonna hand over to DarknezzMonster for this question.
Well, okay, Matt. We know you love trains, but what are your other hobbies?
What are my other hobbies? I'm not allowed.
Yes, we'll make it hard on you.
I haven't got any time for other hobbies. I'm going to say making plastic model kits, and then I'm going to run away from Sarita as she comes at me with a knife. Because, so yeah, I used to really enjoy making plastic model kits. And do you know roughly how many years ago it was, Si? You know what I'm talking about.
1996.
1996, I bought a plastic model kit of a...
plastic model kits.
Sorry, 2 plastic model kits. As I say, this has never been let drop. I bought a plastic model kit because I didn't have a computer at home. It was one of those rare times where I didn't have a computer at home, and I was at a loss. And I thought, we'll get back into making plastic models. And so I started making this thing. It's a big American truck with a big American container behind it. It was absolutely awesome. And I think I made it about a weekend, was it, Si?
Well, yeah, because we went straight down to PC World or Curry's or Dixon's or whatever it was, and we got the most shitty Packard Bell on hire purchase.
Mind your language, please. This is a family-friendly channel. But yes, It was, it was so yeah. I think I lasted about a weekend with the model kit. I made some really good progress, and then we bought a PC. And to date, I still have the kits. No one gets on at me at all for that. Yeah, it's okay. Maybe she does just a little bit. Yeah, so they've not been touched. So anyway, someone asked what my hobbies are. Apparently, making plastic model kits isn't one of them.
You're not allowed to have that as a hobby.
Yeah,
I'm too
he
busy.
is.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he is. If I'm the one doing the allowing, which we will get to later, yes, he is allowed. He's most definitely got carte blanche.
Yeah, so so I haven't. It's all my fault. We went to go and get the computer, and then since then I didn't touch anything that wasn't a computer. You know how it is. You know, we're all blokes. We know how it is. Got a computer, stuff to do.
Yeah, we're all blokes.
Yeah, except present company excluded. What other hobbies have I got? Cycling. I do enjoy cycling. I used to cycle. I cycle to work when it works. Unfortunately, because I take my son. I walk my son to school. Cycling doesn't quite work there, but I'm going to try and make that work better next time. I used to cycle all the way through central London, which didn't give anybody any nerves or jitters. I used to go from Leytonstone, just near Stratford, where the Olympics were the other year, all the way through Liverpool Street into Vauxhall. So it's a journey of about 11 or 12 miles through central London. Yeah, it's really extreme cycling, actually, trying to do cycling through central London on a push bike. And you know what? I miss it. Once you get the hang of it, it's sort of like you become an adrenaline junkie, and you really like it. So, yeah. I'm trying to think, is there any other hobbies? Model railways. But I'm told I'm not allowed to say railways.
I
Messing
didn't say
around.
that. Did I say that?
The question did. Darkness question said. So
No,
the other thing I like,
a little bit harder for him.
Yeah.
the other thing I like playing about with, is these things. Where's the camera? There's the camera. Yeah. So
I can't see. What are you doing?
I'm even showing this to everybody else.
What are you touching?
So this is a Raspberry Pi. It's a little tiny computer. You can see the whole of the circuit board there. And this one's got a TFT touchscreen on it. And what I'm actually making with it, is what I've been doing today and why I didn't prepare at all for the stream, bad me, is it's actually this is going to be a wireless remote control for a model railway. So that's what I'm playing with, and that's what this user interface is all about. And so that's kind of what I'm talking about. So is that model railways or is that programming? Because I kind of really enjoy programming, and I do that a lot, and I do programming for all sorts of different things. So anyway, I think I've drawn that question out for long enough. Short answer is, I'm a geek, and everything about me is geeky.
Geek hype.
Whee!
Number 3.
Number 3, that'll be me again. Oh, good one. Who is in your family?
Well, there's me. There's my wife. Don't let her know. And there's 2 kids. Who you saw one of them actually on the behind the scenes. He decided he'd start playing trains while I was in the middle of streaming, which was great. Thanks, Cameron.
What a horrible noise.
It was it was. So you saw Cameron, and I play Minecraft with Victoria and Cameron actually as well. So yes, that's who's in the family.
There are also 2 furry things.
Oh yes, there are 2 furry things as well, 2 little cats.
Yeah, one of them's trying to eat my foot right now, so if I scream, I'm really, really sorry.
Rip head for users in that case. Just a warning already.
Okay, moving on to question 4.
Alright, so Matt, what would you think is the most embarrassing thing that happened to you on stream?
Well, not putting water in a steam loco. Making really, really noob rookie errors, things like that. It's possibly made even worse by the fact that when I didn't put water in a steam loco, I was actually in the middle of doing a tutorial on how to drive a steam engine. It probably wasn't too great a minute ago when I was doing the tutorial on the 76 and I couldn't figure out how to make the regenerative brake work. This stuff happens. Other things that are embarrassing along the same sorts of lines are running red lights. That's never good. Nebworth, wasn't actually quite as bad as running out of water in the middle of a Steam tutorial. That probably rates as being probably the worst. Not closing the firebox door going into the tunnel on the Penzi K4 scenario, that rates as pretty high on the dull moments. But yeah, red lights, killing the driver, and destroying the loco. They probably rate as amongst the worst. And I think I put almost all of those into the failure video, and that was kind of why I did it. Because okay, you know what? There's no point being shying away from these things. If you make a fluff, make a laugh out of it.
Number 5 is me, is it?
It is.
Gosh, I hope this is a no. Have you ever driven a train in real life?
Have I ever driven a train? No. I have been on the footplate of several trains that have been moving in real life. I was on the footplate of Oliver Cromwell going up and down the Bressingham Steam Museum. You know, it's about 3 times the length of the train. You go backwards and then forwards, and that's it. So it doesn't take long. But that was quite impressive. And then I had a ride on the North Norfolk Railway up and down in the 25, I think it was. So I've been on the cab of a few trains that have been moving. No one has actually been silly enough to let me drive one, though. Sad me.
Okay, so what if somebody is stupid enough to put you in a train? What train would you like to drive in real life? Where and why?
What train would I like to drive in real life? Where and why? The easy answer here is any train, anywhere, and because it's a train. That basically is the... you know, if someone was to say to me, you can drive an '08 Gronk, I'm not going to say, no, it's not an A4. I don't want to. You know, that's just never going to happen. But if someone said, you can drive any train you like, A4, 9F steam engine, or 37, 47, it's... yeah, really, just any train. To be honest, it's. I will take all of the real trains I can get my hands on. Where? Starting off on a preserved line, just to build some confidence, and then obviously blasting up the East Coast Main Line. Obviously, I think I'd quite like to have a go at a Javelin on HS1. You know, if I'm honest, I think that ought to be quite funny. 140 miles an hour, empty train, obviously.
Yes,
why?
Because we don't want any dead people, of course. So.
No, he just doesn't like the sound of screaming.
No, I don't like the sound of screaming. No, absolutely. And why? Well, cos trains. I'm not sure quite what to say about that other than I like steam trains, so I want to definitely drive a steam train in real life at some point. I'm not dropping any hints at all about steam experiences there, Si. None whatsoever. So, moving on.
Oh, it's time for a Train Sim Top 5. What are your top 5 favorite UK routes? Number 5.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I've got them in a particular order. So
Aww.
I know.
You ruined my bit.
I know I ruined your bit. I'm always doing that, though, aren't I? That's kind of our thing, isn't it? You have a bit and I ruin it. What is your top 5 favourite UK routes? Western Lines of Scotland rates very, very highly. Donna Pass rates very highly in America. You want me to come up with 5? Weardale and Teesdale, I like that one. I tend to like some of the more the earlier era routes rather than the modern ones. Liverpool Manchester has actually grown on me quite a lot, which I was taken a bit by surprise. That's a good one, and that one's on sale, by the way, in the 3 for 33% discount. Just dropping that in.
#sellout.
That was 3, wasn't it? So we've got 2 more to do. German routes.
It says UK. You're not allowed.
Oh, it says UK routes. Oh, in that case, I have to scrap Donna Pass as well. So what we got? We've got Western Lines of Scotland. We've got Weardale, Teesdale, Liverpool, Manchester. Riviera Line is a good one, actually. Someone's just said that on the chat. Riviera Line, that is a good route. I do enjoy driving that one. And West Coast Main Line Shap. West Coast Mainline Shap, that's the other one that I like driving. So, and in fact, there's probably West Coast Mainline Trent Valley I quite like driving. I'm just going to end up listing all the UK routes, so, you know.
That's not 5, though, is it?
I've got to 6.
Yeah, exactly. That's not 5. You have to do 5. You cannot... 4 is right out, lest you proceed to 5. And then 6 is just... Why?
Okay, in that case, I'm going to scratch off Trent Valley and go with Riviera Line instead.
Yep. And I'm handing back to DarknezzMonster for whatever the question is after the top 5.
Right, so probably an easy question. How do you become a Dovetail Games employee?
So I was a little bit puzzled by this question. Perhaps you can clarify for me, Darkness. Is this how did I become, or how does anyone become?
Well, as I would read it, how did you become? It is about you, anyway.
It's about me. Right, how did I become a Dovetail Games employee? So I've known Paul Jackson for quite a long time because I used to run UK Train Sim. And I met up. In fact, I've been involved with Rail Simulator, the original thing, since the very early concept days at Kuju. They invited me down to say we're looking at making a new train simulator, and which what eventually became the Train Sim 2015 we're playing right now. So I've kind of been involved with the project since the very, very early days, and it really was just that. It was because I've known them. They asked me whether or not I would be interested in taking my career in a new direction. So yeah, that was kind of it.
Right. So we will head back to my colleague Sai. So the next question is all for you.
Here I am. So what is your role at Dovetail Games now?
What's my role at Dovetail Games now? So at the moment, my role at Dovetail Games is I am the technical designer for the next generation train simulator that I can't talk any more about.
That's fantastic.
It's a question with a very short answer. Essentially, as a technical designer, it's about designing sort of what the gameplay is, what's the overall thing. It's not so much about the nitty-gritty, it's about the whole wider picture. There's a bigger team actually looking after much greater things. So it's a designer is really looking at the whole experience of the game, and rather than is a train got a regulator, that sort of level.
And then, what do you like so much about working at DTG?
What do I like so much about working at Dovetail Games? I like the fact that there are a really great bunch of people. I mean, it's a corny thing to say, but I have a huge respect for everyone I work with at Dovetail. There are a lot of people who they really know their stuff and they really put a lot of effort in. And I think it's only when you're actually behind the scenes and actually you're with them and you're watching them day in, day out, you can really appreciate how much effort they put in, how much knowledge they're putting in, and so forth. And I guess that's one of my favourite things. The other thing is just the ethos of the company, the no violent games, everybody is, everyone works as a team. It's just a really, I've never worked for a company that's got this sort of really friendly atmosphere, and it's really refreshing.
And they have a foosball table in the kitchen.
Oh,
That is amazing.
Well, it's cool. Yeah.
Hey, it's something every office needs, right?
Absolutely. I mean, at one point there was a pool table. But the pool table went.
Played.
I know, we didn't get to play on the pool table, did we? I've still got the pool cues sitting right next to my desk.
Oh, is that where they went?
That's where they went, yeah.
Okay. So, question 11 is actually a vital stat. How tall are you?
I'm taller than you.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
5'8". There you go then.
And for every not British user in the chat, how much would that be in centimeters?
I've got no idea. Lots.
I don't know either. That's hard.
Type it into Google and find out.
You do it. I opened the window.
Steve says DTG Steve says I'm 4'2". That's nice. Thanks, Steve.
Oh, he probably measured you with his beard.
Right, so moving on, what we got for the next one?
Alright, question number 12. What is your favorite TV show?
That one changes almost every week. It's thing is, I watch a show, and then when it's finished, I generally watch 3 or 4 shows at a time, and then when they finish, some more shows come on, and they become my favourite shows of the time. I mean, at the moment, I'm watching House of Cards on Netflix, which is epic. It's just absolutely epic. It's Frank Underwood, the lead character on there, has become my absolute definition of an evil, nasty character on a show, and it's just so brilliantly written. But Stargate series probably rates very highly in terms of all-time favourites. I've watched the entire Stargate SG-1 now twice. That's a lot of episodes, because they're 10 seasons of 26 episodes per season, plus Stargate Atlantis and Stargate Universe. So I'm an absolute fan of Stargate. And Star Trek, although I don't really watch Star Trek anymore. So yeah, I'm going to go with House of Cards as a current and Stargate as a sort of a more long-term.
Cool. Well, moving on through the entertainment questions, you're also asked who are your favorite bands/artists.
Oh, this is where everyone gets an insight into my weirdisms. When I first met Sarita, one of the things that she said to me was that she comes from a musical family, and there is no music that she doesn't like. And she found some. So one of the things that I like to listen to, although I must admit not quite so much these days, is they're called moods, like panpipe moods or synthesizer moods, things like that. So these are regular chart songs that have been recreated.
Like
with
if you've ever
different
been in a lift, it's like that.
She don't like it. I remember putting them on, and I could see her sort of shaking and quivering, and I got instructed not to ever listen to them again in her audio range. So
The only thing that is important there, did it end up as bad as your plastic bottling kids, her chasing you with a knife?
not quite. Although the knife is on the cards if they ever get surfaced again. And what I listen to these days, though,
is not on the cards. So.
So the next thing that the sort of what I generally listen to these days is Jean-Michel Jarre. There's pretty much nothing of his that I don't like. His is great. There's a couple of older bands. One's called Roxette, another one called Tapao. Although Tapao actually reformed recently and put a new album out, which blew me away. It was an awesome album. So those are probably the top artists I tend to listen to at the moment.
Right, then it's time for another given fact. How old are you? We all know it's 17, of course, but...
You've got odds. Evans, I've got odds. We missed out what the favorite song is.
Oh, wait! Yes,
Yeah! What's your favorite song? I think it's Happy Birthday, isn't it?
Yes. What is your favorite song, Matt?
It's not Happy Birthday, no. What's my favourite? I don't have a favourite song because one of the things, I'm really weird when it comes to music, and if I any music that I like one day, I might absolutely hate the next day. So it's really a challenge for me to whether or not I like a piece of music. My favourite piece of classical music that's always stayed with me is Moonlight Sonata. Absolutely love that piece, that one's never gone out of favour. So I'm going to go with that one. And pop music is just it flies with me and out of me, whatever the mood I'm in. Whereas that doesn't.
So like Mexican food.
There you go. There's the tone. Whoosh, down to the toilet. Right again.
Oh, no, wait. I'm not podcasting right now, am I?
No.
Oops. Sorry.
In Squirrel's years, he's 16. That's a nice comment, Cyril.
Yeah, I'm a little juvenile. Speaking of juvenile, how old are you?
So it's my birthday yesterday, and I'm now 41.
17.
/17. So that's my birthday. Thank you very much, everyone, for the best wishes over on Facebook and so forth. And I just got to show everyone Dave MUBot's card again. It says, Matt, keep calm, carry on spadding, and then the message inside, which was just absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, thank you very much, Dave.
Alright, on to the next question, because it's hard to read off 3 screens. Let's get the correct question this time. Question number 16. What is your favorite quote?
The left-hand one. I don't have a particular favourite quote, to be honest. I keep remembering quotes during the course of my day and things, and they apply, and then 5 minutes later I can't remember them anymore. So I probably do have a quote that I use quite frequently, but I can't remember it right now. So,
well, I can tell you, as I'm hoping the one who knows him best, I don't know, he is quite into his spoonerisms.
Yeah, I do tend to mess words around a little bit, sometimes not intentionally.
And sometimes it takes a while to figure it out. I mean, I'm not a stupid person, but sometimes I just don't get it, and it just goes, woo! But yeah, he's got some good ones. Oh, it's my turn.
It is.
What is the reason that you stream and upload YouTube videos? You weird nerd.
So, I thought...
Geek is the correct thing.
Geek. Geek is correct.
Geek bite heads off chickens.
Okay.
No, I really mean it, literally. Circus geek. That's what they do.
Okay. So, getting back to the question. So the reason I stream and upload YouTube videos. So there's 2 reasons. So the original reason that I wanted to play Train Sim sort of every night was having started working for the company for Dovetail, or railsimulator.com as it was back then, back 3 years ago now. It sort of dawned on me about 2 years ago that I'd actually stopped playing the game entirely at home, pretty much. And when we were doing the UK Train Sim Live shows, that was about the only time I was actually playing it. And since the UK Train Sim Live shows have stopped, I've stopped playing it entirely. And that's not good. I mean, I'm trying to design the new one and realising that I'm starting to fall out of touch with the current one. And so I wanted to get back in touch with that. So first thing is I wanted to play lots more Train Sim. Second thing is there was this Twitch thing that was that's been going around for quite a long time now, and as always I'm one of the last ones to join the party. But I thought, let's have a look and let's try and do that. And I thought, well, let's have a look. Let's do the 2 together. Yeah, let's have a go at doing this together. So I did so I started doing a Twitch stream, started playing the game, and it's kind of taken off a bit. And so it's a case of it's moved itself on to actually now what I want to do is show people different content, show people different things that they might not be thinking of. So for example, one of my favourite things is when someone tells me that they're a really hardcore English train enthusiast, and now they've started looking at German trains because they've seen the German trains that I'm driving. They've seen actually there's some real good gameplay there. That it isn't just different trains in a different country. They're actually driven differently and so forth. And that is one of the reasons that I like to do it now. So I'm talking to people on the chat. I'm learning about different intricacies of the detail enthusiasms, and I'm enjoying that. And I'm also trying to share different experiences in the simulator, as well as try and show people how, like for example, the How to Drive series. We'll just forget today's one. The How to Drive series is just a way of trying to help people get the best. So you've spent the money on a piece of DLC, and if it just sits there because you can't get the benefit of it, that's no good. So I want to try and help people get the best out of the trains that they've got in their collection as well. So that's kind of why I do it now, and that's also why I started doing it in the first place. So long answer.
Right, so let's back to Sai again for the next question.
The next question is number 18, so it's yours.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
It is. Oh wait, sorry. I am.
Professionalism.
Such a long time we forgot.
I am still on heavy pain medication, guys. My concentration is still not good. So. Did you ever expect your stream/YouTube channel to grow as big or to what it is now?
No.
Well, all right.
Put it bluntly, not at all.
How high did you expect it to go?
I had no expectations, to be honest. I thought I would do the Twitch bit for a little while just to play about with the technology behind Twitch, and I thought Train Simulator running on Twitch probably not going to get very many hits. I'm going to get 3 or 4 people watching it, and eventually I'm just going to stop. And I decided I was going to give it 6 months. And just see what happened to it, and then terminate the Twitch thing, and just go back to just playing the game on my own. And so I had no expectations that it would go anywhere, but I did want it to give it the opportunity to see if it would. Yeah, it's grown, and it's growing tremendously quickly now. I mean, the last time I looked on YouTube, it was growing at nearly the subscribers to YouTube are actually growing at 600 a month or something at the moment. It's ridiculous, ridiculous in a really, really good way. It's taken me a bit by surprise that it's growing quite as quickly as it is. But it's brilliant, and thank you to everyone who is watching it and who is subscribing and so forth, because I'm doing this for you. It's if you're enjoying it, that makes it all the more worth doing. So I really appreciate that.
Sorry about that motorcycle. Did you hear that?
You've gone all very blurry.
Oh,
Muffled. That's the word. Muffled.
Really?
Yeah, you're back now.
Oh, I didn't know that this thing. I'm using something so that I'm not using an external speaker. And it's actually a retro phone handset, and I had my hand over the speaker bit because I didn't think it worked as a microphone. It's working as a microphone?
Apparently.
Great. Okay, good. I just didn't want you to have feedback. So, speaking of ridiculous, what is the longest stream you have done on Trains and Live?
That would be yesterday at 6 hours and 15 minutes. Sharp intake of breath there. 6 hours and 15 minutes, which was slightly insane, and I've been a bit tired all day because of that. So, but it proves that I can get the longer streams done. So think about it as sort of building up to something longer a long way in the future. So I quite enjoyed that. But 6 hours 15 minutes last night was the longest one. In fact, the longest one before that was the night before, where we did about 5 hours, and the longest one before that was the night before that, when we did 4.5 hours. So this week has been slightly insane, but then I've been off work, so it doesn't matter if I get up late either, so it's fine.
So, follow-up question, where did you pee during this 6 hours?
I didn't. I was I ran into the toilet afterwards, I have to say.
Yeah, oh gosh, that's awful.
A couple of people did comment that I hadn't had a drink of water, and I hadn't had a comfort break at all, and I was enjoying myself too much, what can I say? Moving on.
Right then, next question. Would you ever consider streaming as your full-time job?
It's not high on my priority list, I have to say. So, if, let's say, for example, the situation changes with my normal work, then would I say no? No, I'm not going to. But I'm enjoying what I'm doing too much. So I'm not. It's not something that I want to do right now at all. I'm enjoying it as a hobby, and at the moment, I just want to keep it as a hobby. Albeit a hobby I'm taking quite seriously, because I think kind of need a level of commitment to be able to, so that everyone knows what to expect, when to expect it, and so forth. So it can't just be a pops on at random times, at random, so forth. So I've got to take it seriously, but it is still just a hobby for me, and that's sort of where it's at for me. So no, short answer is not something I'm looking at, but would I ever consider it at some point in the future if circumstances changed? Possibly.
Right. So, I guess you might have possibly answered this one in a roundabout way before, but how long have you been streaming?
Since November 2014. So it was the last week of November 2014, I think, was when we started.
If I remember correctly, the first YouTube video was uploaded at November 21st, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So I got to be close to that.
Yep, it's going to be somewhat close to that, yeah.
Yeah. You didn't do YouTube videos, did you, until quite late on?
No, I've been doing YouTube videos since the start, pretty much.
Oh, have you?
Yep.
Why don't I remember that?
I don't know.
I think I'm blocking it out. We used to share an office.
The garage, isn't that a bit small to share?
Yeah,
no. Different house.
Oh, you just take Matt out of the garage, huh? That would
Oh,
make a
no.
lot more sense.
Sorry, someone's just asked a question on the chat. How many viewers at the first stream? 1. Although Darkness, I think you joined actually. You were one of the first viewers actually. I think.
Yeah, I really was in the first few streams already. Yes.
Yeah, Darkness has been around longer than pretty much anybody now. So you saddo.
Sad times now. No, I enjoy the stream a lot, and it's great to see it grow. So, big chatty activity. Let's say it like that.
Oh yeah.
In a horrible English way. Holy shit. Alright, but let's get on to the next question.
Yeah.
If you already know it, and for when it happens, what will you do for a 5,000 or even a 10,000 subscriber special?
I've no idea. We did the 2,000 subscriber behind the scenes special based on what viewers in the stream asked for. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing, and basically as we get to important milestones, so probably 3, 4 or 5 and then 10,000 subscribers, I will be reaching out to the viewers and saying, what do you want to see?
Well, that's probably that will become a 24-hour drive with a German logo at PZB activated.
No.
Oh wait, sorry, I forgot Sifa. We need that as well.
Yeah, we need Sifa as well, yeah. In a BR143 with full expert line mode.
Yep, and you're not allowed to drive in the cab to make it even harder.
Yeah, I've got to drive from outside the cab, and it can actually only be in view 4, so I've got to keep watching the train going flying past. And I can't see the signals in front of me, I've got to guess.
God, well, we can place your free cab, so you'll have to move to follow the train yourself.
Yeah.
To put an extra bit of difficulty in it.
Okay, what have we got now?
Well, we are looking into the future now. Where do you see your channel going in the future, and might you diverge away from Train Sim?
Where do I see the channel going in the future? At this point, I'm not planning on changing anything in particular. So, more of the same. We do have Flight Sim on Fridays in terms of diverging away from Train Sim. So I've got Flight Sim on Fridays now as a regular feature. And this Friday we're also going to have a little go with fishing. So we're going to have a look at Dovetail fishing on there. Now at the moment I only plan on diverging away to other games that Dovetail sell. Whether at some point I look at Euro Truck Sim or any of those, or American Truck Sim or any of those things in the future, I don't know. I've certainly got no plans to do that right now. There are lots of other great streamers like Squirrel and Steeler Boy and so forth who you can see some good Euro Truck Sim stuff on. So it's not something that I need to do a lot of. What I want to focus on is my goal is to get Train Sim more present on Twitch. And keep showing people new content and new experiences. So I think there's still tons and tons of stuff to do on Train Sim yet. So that's always going to be my priority.
Right. Well, of course, besides, let's say, PZB and Sifa and any other alarming systems that you will find on any train possible, what are your fears?
One of my fears, spiders. Says the man sitting in the garage. That's pretty much it, really. Spiders and heights. Although I'm fine with heights if I'm in an aeroplane. I don't have any problem with that at all. I think it's because it's an enclosed space. Oh, thank you, ScottRail170414. Thank you for the follow, much appreciated. So yes, spiders and heights. Yeah, I can't climb three steps up a ladder without needing to come back down again quite quickly.
Yeah, that goes the same for me. So we're kind of stuck. We actually have to get somebody else in to climb ladders for us because we're both scared of that. And we do have to sometimes stash things up in the loft. It's a shame that, but
yeah.
What can you do? We can eat. What's your favorite food?
Spaghetti bolognese.
And for dessert?
And for dessert. Ice lollies.
I knew it.
Seasonally it is ice lollies,
Yeah,
but when the weather gets colder, I happen to know he's partial to a well-made egg custard.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking
I haven't had an
molten
egg
ice lollies.
custard in ages. We need to fix that.
Tesco needs to fix that.
Yeah, Tesco needs to fix that.
Yeah, I'm not very good at making them myself, so yeah. That's
You
it.
sell yourself short.
His mums are really good, though.
Yeah, I do love a nice egg custard. My mum also makes a really nice apple pie. She also makes a nice Welsh loaf cake called a bar of Brit, which is really nice. My mum makes lots of really nice desserts, and explains a lot, really, doesn't it? So.
He is a cake man as well, and we recently took a trip to Tesco to get some normal survival type food, and the eggs are in the same aisle as the cake, and I said, "Oh, well, don't you want some eggs?" And he said, "No, I don't want to go up there." We totally forgot that it was the day before his birthday, and we really needed to get a cake, so we ended up going today.
Yeah.
The day after.
Never mind. We got a nice cake. Got chocolate cake, so we're gonna have some more of that for supper.
Day-to-day realities of the Peddleston house.
It's never too late for cake.
It's never too late for cake. There you go. You can stay.
Let's adopt him.
Right, what's next?
Right, next. Well, you're traveling a lot in game, of course. But what place and or country would you like to visit where you never been before?
Place or country visit where I've never been before.
This is the time where he's trying to figure out where he hasn't been.
I'm not that well
Yeah.
travelled, but it's like, so I've been to Australia, been to America. I'd like to see more of America, frankly. America, calling America one country does it just an injustice because it's so huge, and it's so different around the states. So I'd like to see.
America is the country.
So I'd definitely like to see more of more different parts of America. But I've only ever been to France, sort of on the Boulogne school trip type thing. So I'd want to go into France to do the high speed trains and things like that. And indeed promised Cameron that will happen. So being a bad dad right now, so I need to fix that. So yes, want to go to France. I don't know, to be honest.
Anywhere that has good trains.
Anywhere that has good trains, that'll do. Yeah, I mean, I've been
Well,
to
but
Ireland. I've ridden on the Lewis in Dublin. That was good fun. We've been to Florida, Tennessee, Massachusetts. Not really done much trains in Florida and Massachusetts. Boo.
If you want to go to places where you have nice trains, perhaps I can clear your mind with the next question.
Oh yes.
That's actually a good point. I do want to go to the Netherlands. Actually, that's a good shout. I do want to go to the Netherlands. There's some really interesting stuff going on there. Oh, Japan. That's another place I'd like to go and see trains. They've got some quite curious trains.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Except that, like, the hotel rooms are really small, and I don't think I'd fit in them. They're like people size, aren't they? People size. I'm bigger than people size. I'm scared. I'm scared that I won't fit in Japan. But maybe China?
Casey135R has just said Germany has good trains. The reason I haven't mentioned it is because I've been to Germany many times, and I've ridden on their trains many times. So, and yes, I've always thoroughly enjoyed going to Germany and riding on trains and doing train spotting and things in Germany. It's really good. It's actually still the experiences I've had train spotting in Germany have reminded me of sort of the earlier days. When I was younger, train spotting in the UK, there's still lots of variety on the railways out there, and so one minute you'll see a little shunter going past, like that 294 I was driving earlier on, then you'll see an ICE3 going past, and you get this lovely different amounts of variety, and that's what I'm kind of missing with the UK stuff. So that's one of the reasons I've always enjoyed going to Germany.
But do you ever want to visit the Dutch Railway Museum?
I want to go to all the museums everywhere, and if we were ever going to go to the Netherlands, then I absolutely would want to go to the museum there.
My friend Karen tells me that she went to the Netherlands. She absolutely loved it. So, yeah, sounds like a cool kind of holiday.
The Netherlands has one really big thing that is making the country just amazing. I live there.
And Koppeloppermau. Between yourself and Koppeloppermau, it's just a must-live place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, GeForce actually has reminded Switzerland. Absolutely, Switzerland is a must-have. Absolutely, going on the Glacier Express or the Heidi Express, I think would be a trip of a lifetime. I think that. So I definitely like the short thing is there are so many fabulous railways all over the world that picking one, you're always going to miss all of the other ones, basically. So it's absolutely superb. Just going to have to wait till I retire, so I've got time to do it.
I'm sure DarknezzMonster would let you stream from his place.
Well, there you go. I'm sure we could. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? What I can do is get DarknezzMonster to do all the driving, and I can sit there saying, "Ah, you missed that, Sifa. Ah, you missed that, BZB."
Then you will need to bring in a laptop which I can use to play the game and stream at the same time, because my laptop is not going to take that.
Okay.
I am 100% sure of that. Both of my laptops won't. But anyways, let's continue on to the next question, and it might be a long, long time ago. But what is the last sport you played?
Last sport I played. It depends if you consider cycling a sport. If so, then that was very, very recently, and that's cycling. No, I can't remember of normal sports. It's going to be the usual school things. I mean, last time I played sport properly would have been in school, so it's football mostly, tennis, and I don't enjoy any of it at all. So.
Dovetail Games used to have a bit of a luncheon lawn bowls club or something.
Oh, they did have. They had balls. Actually, no. The last time, I'm forgetting the fact that we did the boot camp fitness thing, which I did one of before it nearly killed me. And then we did the. I went to the Wednesday afternoon football, soccer for Americans. So I did that, and that wasn't that long ago. I quite enjoyed that. It was just they're like semi-pro players, the quality those guys are, and I'm Mr. Amateur Hour when it comes to. In fact, I make amateurs embarrassed. And the speed they were kicking these balls around. I was in goal, and they were kicking this football around. No, to be honest, I was just leaping out of the way and seeing if I could get out of the way. Because the one time I did catch the ball, I regretted it. It was not fun. So it was. So there's that. We did a cycling thing every now and again. We do a cycling sort of gathering. That's basically it. Not a lot. It's the short answer. I do lots and lots and lots and lots of walking though. So I do get out and move around.
Brilliant. And when you're done moving around in this weather, you prefer to cool down with an ice lolly. Here it is a hotly debated topic online. But what is your favorite ice lolly of all time?
My current favorite is the Mango Solero. Oh, that's an epic lolly.
Well, what about all time, though?
All time? Well, the Mango Solero.
All time, really?
All time. The Mango Solero is pretty amazing. Followed very closely by Del Monte do a mango smoothie lolly, which is amazing. And Adama's just mentioned the Calipo, which is probably, again, we've got three lollies right up at the top there, snuggling up against each other, and the orange Calipo is going to be right up there with those two. So, but my all-time favourite at the moment is the Solero, because you've got the mixture of the frozen fruit juice on the outside and the ice cream mixed with more frozen juice in the middle, which is pretty epic.
Yeah, my favorite is the American ice cream sandwich. Just in case anyone's wondering. I'm only asking the questions, but,
Yeah, ice cream sandwich is good too. I do like those. Moggy's talked about the R-White's lemonade lolly. Yeah, that's snuggling up there as number 4, I think. The R-White's lemonade lolly is very, very nice. I do like that one.
You must remember, Moggy is a real ice lolly king, so he knows everything you need to know about ice lollies.
Moggy is the... for as much as anyone in the world put together knows about trains, Moggy knows that about ice lollies. And what Asda sell them at as well.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's almost like he's a rep for Asda, but apparently unpaid, and that doesn't bother him in the slightest. Gnashing of teeth. Prince Starling's asked, what about rocket ice lollies? I like the rocket ice lollies, they're very nice, but those other ones are definitely a cut above. Miles450 says, fab lollies, yep, we've got some of those in the freezer as well. They're good, probably rate them about the same as rockets, very nice, but not quite as good as the others.
Told you it was hotly debated.
There you go. See, this is a busy topic. Metallica says Twister. I've got a bunch of those in the freezer as well. Moggy says he's still waiting for his check from Asda. Okay, let's move on. We're not going to get on to another question.
I just saw how many there were.
Yeah.
Time for some guessing for Matt to do. by the end of the year 2015, how many fails you think you'll have in total on stream?
So what we got so far? I think you said about 120, didn't you?
Let me open the fail list there real quick.
Yeah, we have a fail list, folks. If you haven't seen the fail list, then Darkness can post a link to it.
There is a link in chat right now.
He's posted the link into chat so you can see it. So there is a link of a list of fails that we have on the stream. And,
I do need to scroll like 3 or 4 pages down, so...
not rubbing it in at all. Moggy says, wasn't 120 a while ago now. Football train crash seems to have a stuck 0 key.
Let's see, we are at 100, just over 130 it was, I think.
130,
my
okay.
Google Drive is loading up a bit slow.
So given we're at July, I'm going to double that number.
Is that a promise?
No. Neither that I will get to it, nor that I will, and not that I will not exceed it.
Well, continuing on in the negative vein, or as I like to call it, Schadenfreude. What is your lowest train sim career score?
That depends whether you're counting when I was actually intending to do the career scenario, which I'm assuming is the intention. If that wasn't the intention, then billions and millions and millions in the negative, because I was basically just proving I could get from start to finish of a scenario, and I was completely ignoring speed limits. But in terms of scenarios where I was intending to play them properly, that I still got minus 88,000, and that was because I misread. It was on a German route. All my major problems are on German routes, as long as they're not steam engines. It was because I misread the signal indications coming up, and I was doing 160 kilometers an hour, and I didn't see the warning telling me that I would be going down to 60 kilometers an hour at the next signal. So I went blasting into a 60 kilometer hour section at 160 kilometers an hour, and my score basically tanked instantly. So yeah, minus 88,000. I don't think I've come anywhere near it since then. About the closest I got to is about minus 10,000. Yeah, that was pretty epic. That was a fairly early on stream when I was still thinking, oh, I don't know, I'll just read the chat, and now I'm kind of a little bit more, touchwood, I'm going to make a complete fluff of it in the next set of scenarios, aren't I now? But I'm kind of more sort of trying to watch the game a bit more and the chat a little bit less, and hopefully the driving quality has gone up as a result.
Yeah, so fail fans, tonight is your night. Right. But back over to you, sir.
Yes, alright. The next question is a little bit more of a technical question. What is showing on your laptop screen, and more importantly, how did you set this up?
So, I think the easiest way for me to answer that, so what's showing on the laptop screen is OBS. I've got the program called Hex Chat, which is basically how I talk on the Twitch chat. I don't actually use Twitch itself for the chat. You can connect to Twitch chat with IRC, which is what Hex Chat is. I've got web browser open with things like the schedule on it to remind me what I'm doing next, and I've got MUBot so I can see how many people are logged into the channel, mostly so I can see if it suddenly goes offline or if suddenly the viewer numbers tank. At the moment I've got the PDF open for the Class 76, as I was desperately trying to figure out how the heck to drive that loco in the tutorial. And I've got Bing Maps in my little application open to do the maps. Yeah, I think that's kind of it on the laptop. So, I mean, there's a ton of stuff, to be honest, open on my laptop at the moment. I mean, the application that does all the rail driver is actually running inside Visual Studio, so that's open. I've got 2 browsers open, half a dozen Explorer windows open. It's a mess. How I expect the game to run is just a miracle. So, more importantly, how did I set this up? That's a bit of a bigger topic, more one for a tutorial probably. What I would say is if you want to see this setup, go and have a look at the behind the scenes video. You can see everything that's going on there, and I try and talk through some of what was going on. It's yeah, so yeah, and if you've got any specific questions, then by all means fire them over to me on a Twitch message or something. But yeah, essentially, how did I set it all up? I followed lots of tutorials online, basically, and then guessed the rest of it.
Right, and then a short follow-up question. What is necessary to set up the 2 displays, and main screen and a laptop?
Nothing particular. My laptop's got an HDMI port on it, So you just plug the HDMI port into your secondary monitor, and Windows just says, "Oh, you've got another monitor. I'll make that happen," and that's all there is to it.
And if you want any more details, obviously, about the inner workings of this whole, I don't know, I've just lost my words, but this whole rat's nest of technology, you can check out the 2,000 subscriber special on the YouTube channel.
Yep.
So the next question is, what are your views on multiplayer for Train Simulator?
Mixed. It's like, I think it has an awful lot of potential. I think it also has an awful lot of potential to scare people away if it was done wrong. It's not. You can't think of it as the same as multiplayer in just about any other game, because fundamentally the railways are a structured, coordinated environment that's managed, and multiplayer games are more often than not chaotic, and the railways just don't work in a chaotic environment. So it's about solving that problem. There's other simulators that have done, other train simulators have done multiplayer, and none of them are doing especially well, I don't think. And Run 8's probably the closest one to it, but and a lot of it is down to trying to solve that problem of chaos, and I think that's probably the key thing. So yeah, that's pretty much my thought there. I'd like to see solution on multiplayer. I think done right, I think multiplayer has tremendous possibility, but I think it needs to be done carefully.
Right, so then next question is about something you've seen in chat a lot probably. Would you ever use Train Simulator mods in a special stream? So I'm guessing we're referring to third-party add-ons.
I haven't decided yet. At the moment, probably not. I'm looking at the possibility. So for those that aren't aware, basically for the mainstream, for normal what I do, I only run content that's available on Steam, and I only run scenarios you can download from Steam Workshop. There's a reason for that, and it's not because I'm lazy or cheap. Or at least it's not just because of that. It's also because, or the principal reason is because, so when we used to run the UK Train Sim Live exhibitions, so we'd go out to model railway shows at the UK Train Sim stand, and we'd show the game, and we'd show it with lots of custom add-ons and all sorts of things that you could download and all sorts of really cool stuff. And then the first thing people would say is, "Wow, that's really awesome! How do I get that on my machine?" And then I'd spend the next half an hour to an hour detailing hundreds of things they'd need to download and install, and the times they'd need to fire Notepad up and Windows Explorer, and they were never going to do it. It was completely confusing. Unless you're 100% in the world, what I was showing to people was a vision that they would never achieve, and that just turned them off, because it made it feel like a bit like it's a really techie, geeky, exclusive club. And it really turned them off. So my goal with the Twitch streams, given that Twitch focuses on a non-train enthusiast audience, Twitch focuses on a gaming audience. So my goal has been to say, this is easy. I am not doing anything here you can't do by just buying the appropriate add-ons that I'm showing, downloading by clicking on the subscribe button in Steam Workshop. All the difficult stuff gets done for you. And that's essentially all there is that you need to do, which means everything is dead easy. So it makes it really easy. It's also, to be honest, there's some of the technical, really experienced people that download the add-ons sort of say, well, they couldn't possibly drive it without it, and frankly, you can. It's there's very few cases where it's actually that bad. It's in general it's very, very good, and you can really get a lot of fun out of the stuff that you get. Yes, you might be able to improve that that experience with some of the add-ons, and there are some very, very good add-ons out there, but it's not essential in my view. So it's that's kind of why I don't use add-ons. Now, would I use add-ons in a special stream? Potentially. One of the things I'm looking at potentially doing is taking on a very small number of the better, more well-established third-party producers. For example, one of the ones I'm thinking about is Virtual Railroads. who make really, really top quality German trains that aren't on Steam, and allowing and then actually running some content with their stuff, because their stuff is also very easy to install. Once you've bought it from their store, it's downloaded and installed in a very few number of steps. So that stuff is also pretty easy. So my key goal is I never want to get anywhere that you have to fire up Windows Explorer. So it's that's kind of my underlying goal. But really, my goal is I want to get Train Sim shown up as being very easy to use and not a techie geeky thing. Not from at least to being, you don't need to be a PC wizard. I want people who are train enthusiasts and gamers to play this, and train enthusiasts historically or generally aren't PC gamers. They're not people who know about, you say fire up Windows Explorer and their eyes glaze over. And that means someone's missing out on a potentially really good hobby, all because the person talking to them said, "Oh, well, you know what, if you don't have this sound pack and this scenario pack and these 14 other things installed, then it's rubbish." And that's not right. It's not right at all. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Wow. Whew. So maybe yes, maybe no.
Maybe, yeah. I'm looking at expanding it, but in a very small way.
So now are we going to turn our attention to someone that I'm not aware of, but I'm sure all of you are, and that's MUBot. And the question is, why does MUBot talk to itself?
So this question gets asked a lot on the chat, because if every sort of 5-10 minutes there'll be a message where it says, "Hi MUBot," and then it says something. And someone says, "Why is MUBot talking to itself?" Well, it's because of the way MUBot's set up to allow personalised responses. So if you type !show, it says, "Hi, your username," and then it reads out the text for the show, describing what's going to be on the show. If it does it itself, then it still has to fill that in. So it's still, yeah. So the text is, the name is still in the text that it has to say. So it just fills it in with the word, with its own name by default. So if you're seeing something that says, "Hi MUBot, what's on today is," what you're seeing is an automatic time that it's displaying it, not in response to a particular person. That's basically all there is to it.
Yes. Very easy, just set up right up. But then let's go back to trades for a bit again.
Okay.
What is your favorite Steam engine that is for sale on Steam?
Oh. That's really tricky because it changes as new ones come out. At the moment, I'm a big fan of the A2 Peppercorn. Really big fan of the A2 Peppercorn. I love that one. Prior to that, the A4. And prior to that, probably the Cab Forward. But that's the bigger ones. You see, I also like the smaller ones as well. So like the 3F, I think, is, from Mesh Tools, is a beautiful example of a really nice small steam engine. Of course, I haven't mentioned the FEF, which is another favourite. You're asking me for my one favourite steam engine currently for sale on Steam right now.
Yes, that's all we want to need. One engine.
I'm not allowed. I'm really, you know me. I'm really bad at picking one engine.
I know.
Picking one answer. My favourite is everything. Desert Island discs, and basically the island's going to sink under my discs. If I could only have one, the FEF3. If I could only have one engine, one steam engine, it would be the FEF3.
Oh, here we go. It's time for the advice column.
Yeah, so I saw this question in the list, and I said, you know what, you can answer this one, Si.
So it goes like this. Dear Si, my wife goes nuts if I'm playing Train Sim for more than an hour. How do you manage to play it for a few hours without your wife complaining? Hi, I'm the wife, and I don't complain. And the reason I don't complain is very simple. We both have things that we like to do that the other doesn't like to do. And when he's doing that thing, I'm doing my thing. And I also happen to think that marriages last longer if you're not living in each other's pockets. We get on really, really well because every time we get together, when we're not doing our separate things. We've got a lot to talk about.
Can I just say,
And
20 years in December?
yeah, 20 whole years. And we met on the internet. So it does work sometimes if you're in 1995. Don't try it now. Ooh, dangerous. But I digress. The other thing is, even if I didn't have a hobby of my own, and I did sort of rely on him for my sole entertainment, I would be looking at it from this perspective. I live a life of leisure. My husband goes out and works his tail off to provide financially for everything that we have as a family. And if he wants to go in the garage and relax and do something that he wants to do, he can do that. Because I'm just going to go out and spend his money later.
Hey, what? That wasn't part of the deal.
I do it all the time. And then I go, ooh, these cats are really expensive.
Steve wants to know where my tail is. I did check and I can't find it.
No, it's up. It's up and it's hooked.
Okay.
You're happy. Yeah. I hope. But yeah, that's my theory on it. I think that if possibly, now I don't want to come off being really like mean or misogynistic, because I'm not. I'm a woman. But you know, if you can't begrudge your man taking a little time out for himself, instead, why don't you find something you want to do during that time and do that? Read a magazine, read a book, watch a TV show that he hates. Just don't turn it up too loud.
She watches a lot of TV shows that I hate.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I've got loads I can do while he's doing that. And I know that he comes back and I can talk to him then. You know, it's nice that you miss your man, wives, if you're listening. But, you know, it's a balance thing. You know, you gotta have your own thing and he's gotta have his own thing. And then when you get together, it's just that much more fun. So, yeah, I'm afraid I can't really give you any direct advice, whoever asked this question. Oh, I don't suppose there was any asking for advice. He just asked how you manage it, Matt. And he manages it because I'm reasonable.
Yep, it's not up to me.
Don't send me any lawyer bills for any divorces that are happening right now. But, yeah, I've just got my own thing. And I can quite happily, you know, live with him going off and doing his own thing, because I'm just going to go off and do my own thing. And then together we'll come back later and talk about it. And
Moggy says Psy for Prime Minister. There you go.
Oh, no. Oh, gosh, no. Not for all the tea in China.
Robo Slayer says Mrs. Pedalston for the win.
FTW.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Well, Ben2135 has an even easier fix to this. He says, my girlfriend is listening, but she loves Strange too.
Oh, well, there you go. That's the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah.
What did she do?
She loves trains
His
too.
girlfriend likes Strange.
Yeah, well, that's great. I mean, we have things that we do together that we both like, but, you know, and it's great if that happens too, but we're just, we've got as many things that we like to do together as that we like to do separately. But it's great if you can share your hobby with someone else, as long as you're willing to fork out for an extra computer, because I wouldn't want to share.
No, I wouldn't share. It'd be my computer and you'd have the telly.
Yeah. No, if we've got, I think we survived about 5 minutes with only one computer.
Yeah, that wasn't good. That was not a good time.
Do you know what I used to do? I used to sit, because cast your mind back. I mean, this was 1995, 1996.
Is it my turn yet? Is it my turn yet? Is it my turn yet? Something like that happening, I guess?
No, it wasn't. He'd be building a Sim City, and I'd be like, put it there. Put it there.
Yeah, everyone needs a backseat driver.
Yeah, but yeah, I can't get that. The music is still in my head to this day.
The music was horrible, SimCity.
Yeah.
Right, shall we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on. I'm just looking at the time.
Dat was wel een bord. Alright, let's move on then. how can you have all this equipment running on one laptop? Like the real drive and everything, I imagine.
Delicate balance. I mean, to be honest, on my older laptop, my Dell laptop, it actually all runs, even all the screens, because I have got some of the screens switched off because it dies. Windows on this laptop dies if I plug in too many USB devices, and I can only pin it down to the fact that there's these ports are all USB 3, and there's some weirdism with USB 3. Whereas my old laptop is all USB 2, and I can plug the whole lot in, and it all works beautifully. So yeah, you say, how have I got all of this running on that? So it's not actually all running on it. So you'll notice when I run the game, 2 screens are actually missing. And at the moment, in fact, it looks like the screens have all crashed and died. So I need to unplug and replug all of those as well. So yeah, this laptop is not doing well with USB. So yeah, it looks like it's working better than it actually is. Whereas my old laptop, it all works really great, and you don't have to do anything fancy to make it all work. Just make sure you're always plugging into USB powered hubs. If you're plugging into powered hubs, everything should work fine.
And if you want to see how it is put in, I would recommend a watch behind the scenes video.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and you can see all the wires as well.
Yeah, he does actually show the wires. I watched it. I actually did watch it.
She did too.
It's another wife thing. I actually do take an interest in what he does, and he actually does take an interest in what I do, which is cool. But speaking, we're gonna settle some bets here, I think. This is an either or now. What loco do you prefer? A class 373 or a 395?
395.
There you go.
So the 395 is the Javelin, 373 is the Eurostar. 395 is newer, sleeker, it's multi-purpose, whereas the Eurostar is pretty much single-purpose. And yeah, that's basically. So I like the 395. It's not as fast, but I think it's more interesting.
Well, stalking my backseat gaming a bit before, maybe Matt needs somebody for this. Why do you always pad?
You see, a lot of people say, "Why do you always spad?" But I don't always spad. I don't think I've spadded that much on the stream. Actually, there have been a few. Basically, why do I spad the times I do spad? Number of reasons. The same reason I mess up on PZB quite frequently. I'm watching the chat and not watching what I'm doing. That's like driving while you're staring down at your mobile phone, and it's a stupid idea, and you should never do it. But yeah, I do it when I'm on the stream because it's. One of the things I looked at when I was reading up about doing the whole Twitch thing was, good night, Steve. Sorry. One of the things I read up about on the stream was, or streaming was, you're either there to be the absolute best gamer that you can be in that game, and that ain't me, or you're there to entertain, and I'm probably more good at entertaining. So. And interacting with your audience is a massive part of the whole thing. If you're just there and you're not interacting with the audience, then your audience isn't going to stick around. So I took the decision that I would pay more attention to the chat, and if that meant that the outside that the game suffered as a result, you know what? We'll have a giggle and a laugh about it, and it's fine. You know what? It's a game. No one died, so it's that's why I don't tend to take it quite as seriously sometimes. But some of the spads recently have been actually some errors in the scenarios and things like that, and I disclaim all responsibility for that. And also the Castle Douglas signalman hates me, as Serge UK has just reminded. So there's that incident with the scenario where the signals just kept changing. As I approached them, it would go red, so I'd slam the brakes on. As soon as I'd stopped, it changed to green again, so I'd start moving. And as soon as I started moving, it changed to red again. And so I was like, what's going on? I don't even know how the game could do this. But yeah, so why do I always spad? Most of the time it's because I'm paying attention to you, the viewers, and not paying attention to the train. And I am trying to rebalance that a little bit so that I can get that better. But the viewers are always going to be my priority, and we can just giggle about the spadding and so forth after the fact.
Well, you told them.
Yep.
It's your fault, guys.
That's my mantra. It's not my fault.
The game's fault.
It's the game's fault. It's the viewer's fault.
Is the game or chat?
It's the laptop's fault. It's the rail driver's fault. It's the screen's fault. It's my monitor's fault. It's the keyboard's fault.
It's everything but Matt's fault.
It's my chair's fault. It's the green screen's fault.
So, what did you do for your birthday apart from streaming?
Oh, we went for B&Q, didn't we?
Yeah,
living it
yeah.
up. We were living it up. We went for a walk around B&Q. Woohoo! So yeah, that was not a whole lot, to be honest. I basically chilled out, and then we did a 6-hour, 15-minute stream. So yeah, that was. Where did that happen?
I don't even remember what I did. What day of the week was that?
Yesterday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, I was. My sleep was broken because I was attending a live podcast in America. So I don't think my memory is quite so good of that day. But yeah, we a lot of the time, I think almost every weekend when we were first together. Anyway, we always used to go to B&Q for some strange reason. We always used to walk around B&Q and look at the drills and the drill bits. And then we'd go to my favorite bit, which was the kitchen section. And we always go, oh, yeah, if we win the lottery, we can have this kitchen and that. And I want that countertop. And we're still doing it.
Yep, she's still dreaming she's going to get a kitchen. Not going to happen.
You going to paint the one we've got? I got to paint for you.
She'll beat
It's all
me down.
mixed up.
She'll beat
All
me
ready
down.
to go.
You know, it's...
Yeah, eventually. But yeah, so I did ask him. I said, sweetie, can we go and point at things we can't afford now? And he said, yes. and we walked around and we pointed at all the kitchen doors, and he even had an opinion.
I did. I had an opinion. This is how, this is what it's like.
Yeah, after 20 years of marriage, you learn to feign interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. But I'm happy for the effort, you know? We had a good time, and we both hated the same countertop, so success.
Yep.
One ticked off the list, as we're never going to get that one. That was hideous.
Yeah, it was a bit.
I'm not going to describe it, because if somebody has just got a new kitchen and they have that one and they're really proud of it, I don't want to upset them.
Okay. Right, so moving on. That's enough of kitchens, I think.
Moving on. Yes, let's.
B&Q, that was it.
Oh, by the way, a couple of people have said, why is Sarita not on the stream? She's actually sitting upstairs, and you've seen the behind-the-scenes video. You know how much room there isn't down here, and
I
that's
still don't
basically...
understand how you and Molman fit in there. With the
Yeah, I
two of
mean,
you.
me and Moleman and I, it was a pretty tight squeeze in here, and that just wasn't fun. And then trying to get both of us on and trying to work out a microphone solution. This just seemed like a lot easier way of doing it. So it's not that I'm trying to hide her away, or at least not just that, anyway.
Cat's on my keyboard. I'm really sorry for whatever's about to happen.
Okay.
Kiki, get down.
Okay. Let's
So what's
continue on
next?
to the next question. While the cat is typing us a magnificent book, probably. Are you going to get around the 24-hour live stream?
Yes. Oh, I'm absolutely going to do the. I'm absolutely going to do the 24-hour live streams. They're going to be based. They're going to be for raising money for charity. But there's a number of things that I need to sort out at work before they can happen. And at the moment, I don't have any news.
Okay, so then just in my head popped a following question. You did a 6-hour, 15-minute stream without going to the bathroom. Do you think you can accomplish that in a 24-hour stream?
No.
Especially if people keep referring to it as a stream.
Yeah, that's not good.
You know, you might have to cross the stream.
Oh dear, I knew that was coming.
Alright, I must admit, I have seen a Russian World of Tanks streamer. He did a 48-hour live stream, and the last 12 hours of the stream he was snoring in his microphone on webcam.
I don't think that counts as streaming if you're actually asleep.
Well, technically he was still live, so...
Oh, yeah. You're not doing anything particularly... I guess that probably was actually quite entertaining for a little while.
We did have a massive laugh at TeamSpeak when somebody saw that channel and like it got around like 200 people on TeamSpeak like instantly.
Yeah.
Sorry,
But,
what are these questions at the bottom of the page without any numbers on?
We're not going to do those ones because those ones are more tutorial type questions.
That last one is a tutorial question?
That last one was just a little bit weird.
Yeah, I think we can. I think that one sort of. Yeah, that one's a bit strange. Yeah.
Are you my mummy? No,
Oh, I'm freaked out.
Doctor Who reference.
Yeah, Doctor Who reference.
Oh, great. So,
I know where this next question's come from.
what on earth possessed you to create the Knight Rider scenario?
Okay, so just for a bit of background, Knight Rider is a scenario that comes with the Southern Region 4SIG Class 421, which is an add-on for the London-Brighton route. And that's actually the Southern 421 was one of the first things I worked on as an add-on content rather than third-party when I was when I joined Dovetail. And so I wrote the scenarios for the original pack, and the pack went out. And then we needed to do some patch updates for it, as you do, and I took the opportunity to add some extra lighting features onto it. So I put cab lighting on. Between sort of getting it into QA and then deciding we needed to do the update we wanted to do the update for it, I decided that I'd learned some more stuff about scripting by this point from Alan Thompson at Thompson Interactive. He sort of told me all I needed to know, everything I know about it to start off with. So I figured out how to do cab lights, the proper putting the light on the front, and all sorts of things. So I did all of that on the Southern 4.6. So when the update went out, the Southern 4.6 now had cab lights and the main proper headlight for these things. And so I thought, well, I've put all these extra lights on, need a scenario to actually take advantage of it. So I wrote this extra scenario, which is based on in the night time, hence the name Knight Rider. And the idea is you start, I think, at Three Bridges and you head north into Victoria. And you start off by following another train. So you're chasing yellow lights for quite a while. And then I route this other train away. And then so you think, great. And so you throttle up and you're desperately trying to keep up with your schedule because I've made the schedule really tight. And so you then push the throttle and you start getting some time back again. And then all of a sudden, you find that the lights start coming back in again because I throw another train in front of you, which means that you start getting yellows and reds and things. And because it's night time, and there's lots of AI going on, there's all sorts of lights changing colours and going all over the place. And so it's actually a really, really hard scenario. And I was really pleased with it when I finished it, and the one time I've completed it successfully. So. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that scenario. So what on earth possessed me? That was kind of what made me do it, and why I did it that way.
Right, so continuing to the next question. How did you get into trains and model railroads?
That's all my dad's fault. So he's always been into trains and model railways, and that's kind of that's really where it's all started. I'm not sure what else to add to that one, to be honest. That's basically it. I'm sort of going on to. I've always had that. We went out train spotting in various places, London a couple of times, and we used to go out train spotting every weekend at our local station. Yeah, it was always really, really good. And then when I heard train simulators were going to be a thing with Oran Trains and Microsoft Train Simulator, that's where the train sim thing came from there. I mean, it's like a lot of people. Simon, I can't remember his name now. He used to work at Hornby. He had the way he used to describe it, and I always thought it was very good. Was that when people have an interest in trains, it goes through a phase, and it's usually quite common for a lot of people. When they're young, when you're a young boy or girl, you get interested in trains, and a lot of people when you're young get interested in trains, and you get a bigger and bigger interest in trains until around about the time girls start getting interesting, and then trains usually fall away, and then you sort of do the whole going out with girls thing. Then you've got the whole family thing, and you haven't got time for it. And you sort of go between this thing where you haven't got money for it but do have the interest, then you have got the money and you haven't got the time, and then around sort of mid sort of probably 30s 40s it starts easing off a bit, and you find you've got time to indulge in the rail interest, and it sort of snowballs back into your fore again. So train simulation was really how it all came back for me. So that sort of answers that question, I think.
Yeah, I agree that also I think Train Simulator has opened it up for so many more people. You know, people who aren't into the modeling aspect and don't have the space to have a railway and stuff like that, it's all there on the computer. It doesn't take up any additional space in your home.
It's also a lot cheaper than a model railway.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah.
I must say, that's also my dad. It actually is pretty valid because for me it's the same reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, but that's fault.
what you know, it's what you're exposed to, isn't it? I mean, my son's into it now as well, and because his dad's into it, and I'm sure that his kids will be into it. So,
Yeah.
Cameron seems to have gone more for the N-gauge stuff.
Yeah.
We're
going to get to that
far
next.
As real models go. He stepped on my Segway, dude.
Ah, go on.
Oh man. So his Cameron's trains that he likes have to be imported from Japan, and so all of our stuff tends to be Kato. And someone has asked, where do you get your Kato stuff from?
I get my Kato stuff from a website called traintracks.co.uk. That's tracks with an X. traintrax.co.uk. You can get his stuff via eBay. He's got a shop on eBay as well, but he's also got the website. He imports really good stuff. In fact, I've just logged in the front, and I've just seen that he's got a Union Pacific FEF3 DCT fitted. Oh, I didn't need to see that. So he's got all sorts of N-gauge stuff. He imports a lot of Japanese. He put the full Kato range as well. So he's got some good stuff, and they almost always exceptionally good prices. So certainly when I was looking around, he was beating everyone's prices quite a lot, and he's very, very straightforward as well. Certainly when I've spoken to him via email, it's been I've said, well, I'm looking for these things, and if he thinks that I can get it cheaper somewhere else or via some other method, he's quite happy to say, well, I'm happy to do this for you, but you get it cheaper here. So I've always had a lot of respect for Train Tracks, and I'd be very, very happy to recommend them.
That is almost unheard of in business today, really. Someone who actually cares about their customers enough to want to give them a good deal, even if they can't give it to them themselves.
That's really unique in today's world, indeed. Okay, let's quickly carry on to the next question, because I think Matt wants to drive trains again.
That's all right.
Just all right. Do you have a history as a software developer?
Yes. So when I left university, I was a system administrator, and sort of on Unix and Windows, sysadmin, IT, that sort of thing. And I worked for an internet service provider for a while. And after that went wrong, because of the problems with internet service providers at the time and mismanagement, I went to British Telecom and did my first job as a commercial software engineer. And I'd always said I didn't want to do software engineering as a job, because it's something I really loved as a hobby. But it turns out it's actually a great fun as a job, and I got paid quite nicely for it as well, because I was a contractor for British Telecom. So it sort of spiraled from there, really. So from British Telecom to a company called ValidSoft, and where we did online banking security, and then to a company called McFarlane, where we did call center solutions. So when you call into a lot of local government places, the call center is quite possibly run by one of the pieces of software that I wrote. And then on to Dovetail after that, where the software engineering side of it stopped. Historically, it's I am definitely almost all my career has been as a software engineer.
So, and what was the reason for you to move on to DDG?
Because I'd always had the interest in trains, I'd always had the interest in simulation, and the opportunity to take that forward in a significant way was too good to pass up. Knowing the management of what was railsimulator.com at the time, and knowing the people who worked at Dovetail, have the opportunity to work with them, learn from them, and so forth. It was too good a thing to miss up. It was a massive thing for me, because changing your career is huge, and so I had to give it a lot of thought, because the case of, well, if this doesn't work, then my last job on my CV doesn't have programming. How do I get back to programming? So it was a big thing, but I'm really, really glad I took the leap. Yeah, it wasn't because I didn't like software engineering. I still thoroughly enjoy software engineering. Yeah, it's more because essentially something better came along.
Right, and then another follow-up question for this one. What is your coding history?
So I've explained sort of some of my background, the sorts of projects I've worked on. Terms of programming languages, I can pretty much learn any programming language in no time at all. I learnt Perl once in 4 hours because I needed to use it for something. I use C# predominantly these days, but I did an awful lot with Java, certainly at British Telecom. I did C++, which I really, really firmly dislike. There's been... I've touched most programming languages. UK Train Sim is all written in PHP. It's got some C# back-end stuff on it. I've got... What other stuff have I played with? Most programming languages, to be honest, I've played with. These controllers that I'm holding up to the camera right now, that no one else can see. There you go. These are all done in Python, which I hate. I hate Python with a passion. But it works. So, and it's the easiest way to program GUI, graphical user interface apps on the Pi. So that's kind of why I'm doing it that way. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to add to that one, to be honest.
Tell them about your university final project.
Yeah, so when I was at university, the plan was to I wanted to do a master's and then a PhD. So I was doing a Bachelor of Science. Someone actually had asked what university it was. It was University of Essex in Colchester. I basically came to the realization that I just cannot get along with academics. So having spent sort of the first 2 years of that course being constantly told that my solutions are the solutions I have to programs. I always tried to optimize things, as I always do, and I wasn't capturing the essence of the problem in the solution. I was just coming up with a solution to the problem, which sort of felt like the right thing to do, because you write a program to solve a problem and to achieve a goal. But they wanted me. What they were actually trying to get me to do, and I didn't get it at the time, was to encapsulate the environment of a solution or of a problem, and it's like representing the systems and so forth in the code. And so I didn't get that. But then when it came to the third year project, my final year project, I decided that I wanted to create a system which would allow you to write code once and run it anywhere. Now this was before Java came out. And the idea was that you'd write this code in this new programming language, so I devised a new programming language, and I wrote the compiler, so it compiled it into bytecode. I then wrote a virtual microprocessor, memory handler, and all the rest of it all in code, which is essentially like a virtual machine, or Java virtual machine, the equivalent thereof, which would then run all of that code, and then use that whole environment to be able to write online services like bulletin boards, FTP servers, web servers, all of that sort of thing. This is very early days of web servers, but when Netscape 1 was the latest and greatest. And so I did this, and I did this by modeling the way that processors actually work. So I had an ALU, and I had all these different registers and everything that was in there. And you know what? I got marked down really low because I hadn't optimized the solution. And what I'd done was encapsulated the blooming problem. So it was a case of, you know what? I obviously don't speak the same language as these people, and that's fair enough. I'm moving on. So essentially, what I developed there was Java before Java, and I was told by the lecturers at the time, well, no one will ever need this. C++ is perfectly portable. Anyone who knows C++ and has tried to port it really, really knows that it's not like that at all. There's no such thing as portable C++. Or they didn't grasp quite how portable my stuff was. You didn't have to modify my code at all, much like with Java and C#. All of those languages that are really big and huge now. I am not grumpy at all.
Nope, me neither.
Someone's actually just asked a question, how did I learn programming? I taught myself when I was at high school. I started with... in fact, before then, the first programming language I'd used was Atari Basic on the Atari 800, but sort of more complex programming. I taught myself BASIC on the Sinclair Spectrum just by reading magazine articles, and then I taught myself assembly language on the ZX Spectrum, Z80 assembly language, and started writing stuff in that. And then I got my first PC, which I borrowed from school over a holiday, and taught myself Pascal. and it sort of spiraled out of control from there. When we got our own PC, then I got got to learn C, C++, the newer versions of Pascal with Turbo Pascal and Ball and Pascal. So yeah, it was really just a question of reading articles in magazines and playing with it and experimenting with it. It's programming is something I think you can get a bit of a head start from other people, but if you are into programming, if you're into the idea of programming, you can figure it out. I mean, these days I wouldn't do it like that. These days you've got things like the Raspberry Pi, you've got things like Scratch, you've got things like Alice, so you've got really, really good ways of learning the fundamentals of how programming works.
Right, so I guess we're going back up to Sai for the next question.
Yes, we are at the penultimate question with the magical number of 47. Yay! Star Trek number. But the number notwithstanding, this is a difficult one. If you didn't work for Dovetail Games, who would you like to work for?
I don't know. I'd probably like to actually work for a train company now. Actually drive these things. Yeah, I want to drive trains. Yeah, you'll not want to drive, ride trains
People will
anymore.
die.
No, I think I'd probably quite like to work for the railway companies in some form or fashion, even if it's not driving trains, because I'm really interested in signalling systems and so forth as well. So, I think anything on the railways, I think would be a big thing. But equally well, anything in the video game industry, because there's one thing that working at Dovetail showed me is that there's so many other things that I can apply myself to. That I would have been very, I had quite a limited view on what I could apply myself to before I started working at Dovetail, and that's been broadened. It's one of the nice things that Dovetail really, they encourage you to sort of broaden your skills and look around a bit more. Not look around as in other jobs, but look around as in terms of what other things that you could do and how you could bring your skills to that, which is it's incredible. So. Yeah, I think just generally speaking, there's a lot more that I could apply myself to now.
Right, so I think it is time for the very last question in the list.
I think you can answer that one, can't you?
And this is a question for Matt. Let's see if he remembers. How many fails do you have so far this year?
It was about 130, didn't you say?
Okay.
Yeah, close. I just checked up, 131.
I got it to within one. I don't think that's too bad.
Take a note that there was this one scenario with the J50 on Western Lines of Scotland with a certain signal man, which was run twice with about 15 spats. I did not count them in.
Right. Yeah, I don't think they were my fault, to be fair.
No. Not for you.
It's like that other scenario where the game said at the end that it reckoned I'd put the emergency brakes on 120 times. I don't quite know where it got that from, but...
But then there is only one more thing to do.
Go on.
That is me closing the votings for the survey we have on the meme contest.
DarknezzMonster here has he's got an extra copy of FSX Steam Edition, and he has very kindly offered to offer that out to someone who wins this competition. And the competition was to create a Train Sim meme, or a Train Sim Live meme. And we've had a few entries, and over the course of the stream you have been voting for them. So Darkness is now going to give us... Can you give us the 3, 2 and then 1?
Well, I can give you a 3, but at the moment I cannot give you a 2 or a 1.
Oh, we've got a joint, have we?
We have a tie.
We have
Indeed.
a tie. Oh,
so, as I posted a few times in chat, when we have a tie, Matt will decide who is the winner.
I'm actually going to defer that because I've already voted, and it seems
you
unfair
have
to get a
voted.
second vote. So what I'm going to say
is,
can you send the link to the survey to Sai, and then tell her on the chat which are the two ones, and then while you read out the third winner, she can have a look and make a decision on which one she thinks is the number one winner. If you're okay with that, Sai.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, yeah. Someone has just asked in the chat, do Dovetail make a flight simulator?
Yes, Dovetail make flight sim. Well, they don't make a flight simulator. Sorry, they have they publish Microsoft Flight Simulator X Steam Edition. But they, I mean, I seem to recall they have spoken on the Flight Sim Dovetail channels about that Dovetail are making a flight simulator, but I don't have any details. I know nothing about it, I'm afraid.
All right. Well, the mole man seems to have an answer, so that's all right. So, is there a draw for first place?
Yes.
Yes.
There
So
is.
on third place, and I really have to find the names for them because I failed in putting them in. But I can just send a link. Right, I will just, let's say this, I will read them out, which is the first, second, third one. So, in the third place, we have with the amazing picture of Matt in the picture, with the Prime Minister standing behind him watching Matt playing Flight Simulator. So, then, what is that? Much important man, very aeroplane. At least I can't fail too hard in a flight sim. Wait, does he know about my Twitch? That ended up in third place, so that was very well done. I will have to look up for who it was. And I will post it in chat as soon as I gone back through my Twitch messages again. And then if Sai has voted, I should be able to see who was in the first place and who has the second place.
Let me see. I'm trying to figure out which one's the right, which one I'm looking at. Because I don't think the. Oh, I see. Okay, you've clarified.
Yeah, I typed in chat, Skype chat, which ones there were.
Let's see.
I know which one out of the top two is my favourite.
I gotta say, the one that just made me proper laugh out loud was Kermit.
Yep.
Right, so then we probably have one very happy person in the chat. But first, the second place is a background of Toy Story with Woody and what was his name again? I forgot.
Lightyear.
Woody and Buzz Lightyear.
Woody and Buzz Lightyear. Where the first question, who needs Knapwood? When there's a whole load of other stations on this route. A very good second place. And the first place is Kermit taking a sip of tea. Your next station is Knapwood. But that's none of my business. So, congratulations to... Who was it? I will have to look. Congratulations to Fringe Stalin for getting the
Fringe
first prize.
Stalin. Congratulations, Fringe Stalin. He's always saying he never wins anything, so there you go.
I will get the code for the game over to you soon.
I love
And,
all of these. I just gotta say.
There are a lot of amazing... I must say were really good memes entered in the contest.
I love them. I do. These are great.
Even some abuse memes.
Okay, so Fringe Styling, Darkness will send you the code via Twitch messaging so that you can get that. Congratulations to you, and I just want to say thank you to my wife Sai and to DarknezzMonster for coming on the stream and doing the Q&A session. I hope I've answered lots of questions. I know we've answered lots of questions, but I hope they're all the questions that you were aren't interested in. If you want to ask more questions, then why don't we hold them back for the 3,000 subscriber special, and we'll do something maybe again then if there's more questions to be had. So for the time being, just make a note of myself, and I'll remind you nearer the time. So yes, thank you to Sarita and to Darkness for that. Much appreciated.
Most welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Time.
And maybe at some point in the future we can invite Sarita can come on and actually star on the show properly, just to prove I've not got it locked up in a cupboard as someone suggested earlier on.
Well, it's a really nice cupboard. It's full of lovely things that I can use to make pretty other things.
Superb. Okay, right, and on that note, I think it's time to get on with some more trains. So I'm going to sign off on the call with these two, and then we're going to get back on with some trains. So thanks very much, guys, and wait for you who are viewing. Wait one moment while we get back to some more trains.
Bye, trainee people.
Bye guys, I will see you in a bit in chat. probably.